even though I have all the emails, I have all the proof that they've all known for years at this point, right? Now, if somebody takes them to tax court, there's the precedent being set that no, if you try to report, you shouldn't get penalized, right? But ultimately, like you said at the beginning, ignorance does not excuse you.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or investment advice. Please consult a professional advisor before making decisions based on what you hear on this show. Wealth Without Wall Street Tribe, excited to introduce to you Miss Janna Scott. Janna, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Janna, our audience typically is following us for passive income strategies or ways to reduce or mitigate expenses. Now, we don't spend a whole lot of time talking about cryptocurrencies. Now, they have heard us talk a little bit in the past how we bought some crypto miners and we were mining Ethereum. We did that for 4 or 5 years until they changed it from proof of work to proof of stake. And then we've also, bemoaned the investment into a Bitcoin mining operation where we turned $175,000 into $35,000 and everybody else has been laughing at us. Now, part of the laughing, though, unfortunately, still could be continued, but it could be on a negative side. And it relates to the taxation and the cryptocurrency space. I know that taxes are an area that most people put their head in the sand. They don't understand. And specifically when it comes to this issue, which is why we asked you to come onto the show. So for those who have not had a chance to follow you before, would you mind giving our audience just a quick version of who you are and what fires you up about fighting for taxpayers specifically around this crypto conversation?
Well, I work for the government. I work in public accounting, and then I worked for the government for a while in the finance tax. And in 21, I kind of said, I'm good. No more. I saw too much. And I left and I went back to, the light side. And I opened up my own firm and I realized just how little due diligence a lot of tax preparers do. And how little backup taxpayers receive, especially when the notices start rolling in, when it gets more difficult. And I'm very much a person that doesn't like to hear no. So I always go to bat for my. And when clients came to me and said, hey, how do I report my crypto? I went down a rabbit hole and I audited everything that's on the market, every crypto tax product, every crypto tax so-called expert that market themselves in the US. And what I found were a lot of inconsistencies. And I know from experience in the regular non-crypto tax world that the IRS will eventually come. The problem with crypto is, and with all the inconsistencies, and then finding out that the IRS's process in the crypto world was inaccurate, something had to be done.
How many summers do you have left with your kids? 10, maybe less?
And are you spending them together or are you still stuck in the office while time slips by?
You want freedom. That's not the problem. The problem is you don't have a system that buys back your time. Without it, 3 years from now, your kids will be older and they won't care that your business was more successful. They'll remember you weren't there.
That's why we built the Passive Income Operating System, the plan we use to create over $50,000 a month in passive income. The system isn't free, but the training that shows you how it works is, and it's under an hour.
Go to wealthwithoutwallstreet.com/PIOS. Take the first step to buying back your time now.
So what is specifically broken, in your opinion, as it relates to the current crypto tax reporting?
Well, first of all, most of these products were built by coders. They were not built by accountants and tax preparers who understand the tax code. When I started working with software developers, I had the same issue. Oh, this is simple. It's just an algorithm, but it's not. There's a lot of nuances that fall within the crypto space that need to be taken into consideration. And so in the products that we found, there were multiple issues. Sometimes it was the classification of the data. So when they pull the data from the blockchain directly, you still have to categorize it accurately. Some of the products go ahead and say, we'll let the user categorize it themselves, which can lead to inaccuracies, but because they couldn't get the algorithms right to have the categorization accurately done. Or sometimes it came down to the calculations. The calculations the algorithms built just did not accurately reflect what the tax code tells us to do. And the bigger the products got, the less likely it was for them to correct it because it would have been a waterfall effect. So instead, again, they put the responsibility on the users.
So, Janna, I guess I'm trying to understand without an accounting background, without a tax mindset, I hear you say categorization and calculation. What's the so what behind that? Like, is this a small problem? Is this a huge problem as it relates to how this could affect me as a tax paying investor who's put themselves in, crypto and then thought it was all being handled one way? I guess I'm trying to understand to what extent does your software and your solution really helping people to do that?
Yeah. So it could be detrimental to you or it could be beneficial to you. Depends on what product you're using. So when we take top 5 products on the market, and again, I'm not naming names, I don't need a lawsuit. Let's take the top 5 products on the market. I took the same set of data. I ran it through all the top 5 products. Every single product gave me a different outcome. Now let's take the top 2 products for this. The one main product that is being endorsed by one of the top exchanges in the country tells me for 1 year I have $25,000 of capital gain. The other product, also endorsed by that same exchange, tells me I have capital losses of $351. Same set of data, completely different outcome to products. Now,
that's $375,000 of differences with 2 of the main competitors that's supposedly doing this tax accounting or tax reporting for these crypto exchanges, what you're saying.
Correct. And I know why. It's very simple as to the why. The why is categorization. Okay. One product I received funds, which is considered income on any level. I received funds. Okay. Now, if I receive $250,000, somebody sends it to me and I turn around and I sell it. That generates a capital gain. However, receiving the $250,000 does not generate a capital gain. It's income. Okay. So it should have popped up as income, not as a capital gain. Okay. That's one thing. But when you sell it, let's say I took the $250,000 and I sold it and I made $100 because I turned right around and sold it. It didn't hang out for long. It didn't gain. I had $100 of capital gain, $250,000 of income. All these products completely left out income, didn't categorize a received crypto as income. Okay, there's the categorization. Ignored it. But then they went ahead when I sold the crypto, they said I had $250,000 of gain because they didn't add a basis to it. So now one product had gain, the other had loss.
So have you brought this to the attention of any of these big, tax software companies that I know that I can remember, when we were using this, we had one of those exchanges, they had this go get your tax information. There was always a provider I could have chosen to use. Have you tried to share this with them? And if so, what has been kind of the feedback?
I did. We reached out and we had our attorneys reach out directly. And we specifically stated, we have this research. We did the research. We found inaccuracies in your algorithms, in your data collection. We want to give you this for free. Because at this point, I didn't want to build anything. I just wanted my clients and other taxpayers to be protected. We have that in writing, non-confidential, can always share it. Send it to them. Some of the main we saw, because we had read receipts, compliance managers read it and then blocked us. Some others ignored it completely. And some others responded and then tried to sell us their product, but didn't want to fix anything.
Interesting. So they know that there's a problem, in your opinion, or do you think it's just
I can prove to you that they know that there's a problem, and you can yourself look it up. So
what would benefit them for not fixing it? That's, I guess, the question I have on my mind is, why would they not want to fix it?
Because they don't have to. They don't have to. They're not regulated. What's going to happen to them? You sign the terms of services. You say, look, you're still responsible for yourself if you've ever read them. We're not responsible for anything. If it's wrong, it's wrong. It's up to you. I mean, they have millions of dollars in investors. I mean, one of the products raised like 400 million or 100 million or whatever in seed money. And now they have to go to all the investors and say, hey, by the way, we've been doing this all wrong. Technically, we have to reimburse every single person that we gave this to. And so now
it's reversing course. So that's, I mean, there's a big name entertainer out there in the financial space, and people ask us all the time, why wouldn't this person recount what is obviously false information, like proven false information? Even some people within his own network have called it out. But I've always said, like going back and saying I was wrong, one, pride, two, potentially the financial liability that goes with that. You're saying there's a potential huge refund that would be associated with that. I want to take this one step deeper here, moving back again to the person listening to you. This is all they care about. They don't really care about that company and what they're losing. But what is the biggest risk for the average investor who is potentially relying on these 1099s or these inaccurate reports being provided by these tax software providers?
So there's a couple issues, actually. So let's say you did your best and you tried to report. And that's something that I've emailed kind of back and forth with attorneys from the IRS. That was always my issue is, listen, the people that reported, those people shouldn't be penalized. You know that these products were wrong. The IRS, you knew that. You didn't inform the people, neither did the SEC. You've still let them use the products and gave them, they have this internal security that these products are right. We're going to report this. They've done their best. If they're wrong, they shouldn't be penalized. Now, are they still responsible for taxes? If they underreported, should they still get a refund if they overreported, like I just explained? 100%. However, they shouldn't be penalized with fraud penalties, tax evasion penalties, underpayment penalties, late payment penalties, significant underpay, interest, etc. They shouldn't be penalized. Now, this is where the problem comes. Let's say you try to report because I pull reports from all these products consistently since 2021. In 2023, late summer, early fall 2023, these products changed their algorithm shortly, a few months after we sent them emails. They made some changes. They didn't let any of the users know. But when you now pull your 22 and earlier reports, they don't match what you actually used when you filed your returns anymore. So now let's say you get audited. You say, oh, I used product A, B, C, D. And again, everybody can double check that if you've used these. There's only one product that didn't make changes. But again, not naming names. Now, let's say you get audited and you say, yep, no, I pulled the report from this product. I'm going to show you the report. I reported exactly what they told me to. You pull the report and there's a 30 to 40% variance now from what you reported. How are you going to explain that? Especially if it went up, not down.
How much passive income do you have right now? And if in 5 years you're still at the same point, what's that going to cost you? Maybe more time at a job you hate or missing moments with your family?
See, most people don't move because they don't know what to do. So they just keep doing the exact same thing.
That's why we built the Passive Income Lab. It's a 12-week program where you are guaranteed your first $500 a month in passive income.
But here's the catch. It's not open to everyone. We only let in 10 people at a time.
So the real question is, will you be one of them? Apply now at choosepassiveincome.com.
There was nothing worse than walking into class when you're in school and the teacher saying, "Pop quiz day." Why? Because you were unprepared. Are you unprepared, though, for financial freedom?
Don't be. Find out how close you are by taking our 30-second quiz at wealthwithoutwallstreet.com/quiz.
Okay, so I want to back up a second. Mm-hmm. You kind of, in passing, you told us that these companies knew that they were wrong, but they've continued on. But then you just mentioned the IRS and the SEC knew that those were reporting were wrong, and they allowed people to continue to use them. Did I mishear that?
No, that's accurate.
Okay.
In March of 2023, we met with the SEC and 20, there were a lot, up to 50 division chiefs. I have the emails, non-confidential, also willing to share them. And we discussed our findings, which is what I just explained. And they said, oh, crap. And it was the FinHub division of the SEC as well, which is the financial, products for. And they said, well, we don't regulate these because we don't regulate crypto. So this is bad. Can't do anything about it. Plus, we're getting ready to sue Coinbase. We have other things going on. Okay, great. So they sent us straight to congressional committees and to the IRS. And that's when we met with the IRS and went again over all of our findings, went over their internal audit processes, and verified that they're doing it inaccurately back in 23, which is why the audit stopped in 23. The universities who are willing to as well speak on our behalf and verify this, in 24 used our research again to tell the IRS you cannot restart the audits because you're still not doing it right. So they have known that that whatever the taxpayers are using is inaccurate.
As a former, government, working at the government, CPA, do you believe that there's a reason that the government would use this in a negative way against the taxpayer if they knew that these softwares that the taxpayer was trying to do it the correct way, but was using the tools available to them? Is there a way for the taxpayer to be, protected? Is there like we used what we were told, we paid what we were told? Does that fly in the event of an audit, in your opinion, Janna?
No, I don't think it will. Unless somebody, listen, I'm not, technically I'm a nobody to all of them, right? I'm just here, making some noise, trying to do the right thing. Unless I get somebody who can be louder than me to listen and actually make a change, there's not much, my word is, even though I have all the emails, I have all the proof that they've all known for years at this point, right? Now, if somebody takes them to tax court, there's the precedent being set that no, if you try to report, you shouldn't get penalized, right? But ultimately, like you said at the beginning, ignorance does not excuse you.
Well, I listened to the All In podcast, which one of the 4 hosts on there is David Sachs. I think he's the
I know him.
Yeah. He's the the crypto czar. Now, I mean, just because I'm a listener, surely I can make a comment and get him to do something on our behalf, right? As one podcast host to another, pretty close, right? Stallion is downloads that we
all the site. Y'all are brothers. Yeah, it's all good.
Let's go throw a fit.
Yeah, let's. I mean, I'm good at throwing fists. Joey's seen it earlier today. Well, here's a question I have for you. Then again, just trying to stay with the listener, and as this is the question I have, and I'm sure maybe they have too. How do you ensure that the data is audit proof?
So I have picked multiple reasons. The reason it took us so long to build something, we just didn't build it overnight, is because I went and I set up accounts with hundreds of exchanges and wallets, up to wallets, we're at close to 1,000. We have run transactions through all of them. And then we took the data to verify that what is coming over is not just a guess, it's actual data, and we can verify it. We have set it all up. We have not just went on an API site and pulled the APIs and connected it and then pulled the data over. And like I said, most of these products have this issue. Let me ask you this. Can you go to your bank and say, hey, I just spent a $10,000 check, but let's change this to 10,000 yen and maybe subtract a couple zeros. That's what these products allow you to do. You can go to one of the products, download your data. Let's say you sold $100,000 worth of Bitcoin that you bought for $10,000. You have a $90,000 gain, and you say, I don't want this. That's too much of a gain. You can go in. You can not just change the date and timestamp of that sale. You can change the crypto. You can change it from Bitcoin to Ethereum. You can change the basis. You can change the spot price. You can change every single aspect about it in these products.
And this is in these tax reporting softwares. This isn't just the CSV file that you're downloading.
No,
you're changing on an Excel document. You're talking about actually in their software.
Yeah. And so we don't allow this. We know exactly what comes from the blockchain, what kind of transaction type it is, whether it is considered an income, whether it's considered a gain, whether it's considered just a self-transfer. We double verify anything. One thing none of the products can do either is none of them can recognize a validator account. None of them subtract any burn fees. None of them can trace an NFT basis if it was sent to you. We can, and we do not allow you to modify anything other than if you tell us this was a self-transfer because you forgot you had this wallet. We say, okay, great. We found the address. We're going to connect it and pull the data from there too, so we have a full set of data. Or we say, we allow you to categorize something as a gift that you received or sent, but only with the details that are required, or a donation with the EIN, right? But we don't allow you to make any additional changes. Doesn't help.
So I'm just going to sum up what I think I heard you say. You created software that puts in certain, first of all, pulls the data directly from blockchain with the proper categorization and the proper, I don't even know the proper. Yeah.
This is such a non-tax person talking here.
Hey, trust me.
We're going to ask him to summarize this for our community after the fact because he's become such a whiz at it already.
You're getting the redneck version here, Janna, okay?
I'm good with that. Italian version. Italian version.
But you're not allowing there to be, all those controls are in place with your software that make it more audit proof in the sense that I can't go in and change it from that point. Is that I hear you?
I can get it. Yes, and I can go to the IRS and I can say, here, nothing was manipulated. Whereas the other products, manipulation, like these products are setting it up for people to make mistakes, to change things, to commit fraud, whether accidentally or on purpose.
Okay, so I hear you and I'm like, okay, wow, this is a big difference than what I thought that I was getting with these other products with my whole crypto portfolio. Going forward, I feel like, okay, that's a good solution. How about for the years that have already passed? Is this something that, I mean, it sounds like even the data that I may have used 3-4 years ago is not even going to be accurate when I go back to those wallets and those things. So do you have a solution for that?
Yeah, so you can go in and recalculate anything further back, but this is the other key thing we do. We make you lock your years, because one of the issues is, so let's say you have a couple pots for each year. You have a pot for 17, 18, 19, and you always used HIFO, okay? And then in 20, you decide you want to use LIFO. Or FIFO. It will go back and recalculate your 17, 18, and 19 years, even though you already reported them under HIFO. If you don't lock them, it recalculates what was already used up. Does that make sense?
Well, Joey thinks you're speaking about a dog, LIFO, FIFO, right? So
I'm just
first in, first out inventory methods. First in,
I don't have my cell phone, whatever we're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
Highest in, first out, last in, first out, just the accounting methods that are allowable, right? And so we avoid double usage, but we let you go in and recalculate previous years. We will give you the reports. If you get audited and you have our audit protection, we will work with the IRS in an audit. We will make sure to fight, because I like to do that. I like to fight, and I like to win. And I have people on my team. I have attorneys on my team who feel the same way, who like to fight and who like to win. And we have a very good reason. We can always point back to, we have discussed this with you in multiple occasions. Here's the email from your chief counsel.
Yeah. All right. So, Janna, a question I think probably comes up is, all right, thinking about taxes as it relates to these crypto, I do need to understand when I'm buying and selling things, the transactions are going to potentially create a taxable impact. Can your software that you guys have been building and built help a person decide what to sell, what to hold, how to potentially minimize those taxable events at all?
Yeah, we give you what if analysis. Okay. So you can go in and you can, let's say you're somebody with multiple wallets and exchanges, and you say, hey, I need liquidity. I want to sell Bitcoin. We will tell you, sell 0.25 from this wallet, 0.25 from this exchange, 0.3 from this, and whatever's left from the other one. And that will, we'll say, if you do it that way, that will create the least amount of tax liability. because the goal is to get you to zero. The goal is not to get you to negative unless you have a lot of other capital gains and you want to be negative, but the goal is to get you to zero. And so we have the what if analysis built in.
All right. And another question follow up to that, as a business owner who maybe is looking to accept crypto as payment or pay in crypto for certain transactions, does your tool have anything to help them handle that as well?
Yes, we have a bookkeeping software for crypto. And so we have individuals, we have bookkeeping, which allows you to also have, if you have a trading account as a business, and to accept crypto and account for it, get a profit and loss, a balance sheet that can easily be integrated with your other accounting software. And we have an accountant version, so you can have your accountant work with it as well. So we try to cover all of the bases.
Hey, Joey, this has been good when we were trying to sell that piece of real estate to the guy with crypto. Even though he didn't have crypto, he believed he did, or at least he told us he did.
Yeah, but can you confirm that someone actually has the crypto that they see in their wallet on their phone? Like, I mean, don't
answer that question. That's a joke question for us. But I do have just a couple more. Like, what's one thing you wish maybe every crypto investor would knew today that could maybe save them headaches tomorrow?
Keep track of all your addresses, because Chainalysis is very, very good at tracing. And Chainalysis has a contract with the government, with the IRS, with Homeland Security, FBI, etc. So keep track of all of your addresses, which I know for a fact I haven't. I'm in the same boat as a lot of others. There's really not much you could have done with what's on the market. If you've done your best, I think that is your best defense when it comes down to being audited.
Interesting. Well, I'll tell you what, this has been very eye-opening. Where do you see like the future of this tech going in terms of IRS, exchanges, Congress? Like, how do you see the future unfolding?
So, a lot of people said, oh, look, maybe Trump will just, make capital gains go away and income tax, or maybe just one or the other, or, or tariffs on crypto. It doesn't matter. It matters for the future. It doesn't matter for the past, because obviously tax laws don't change backwards. That would be detrimental, because then the IRS could say a lot of things that we've used as tax breaks and make them go away. So they're still looking, especially between 19 and then 24, when Bitcoin and crypto just skyrocketed and people made millions upon millions. They're still going to go after this. It's still going to go backwards. So that's not going to go away. So these products still have to be accurate.
Janna, this has been fantastic. If somebody in our community would like to understand more about your software and what you guys have built, where would you want to send them to?
We have our website is defitax.us, and they can reach us there. We are on Instagram. We are on Twitter. I think we're on Facebook. See, I don't do social media much. I have people who do it. I didn't even want to be here, but I made it. I'm just kidding.
Well, you did meet with Russ ahead of time, so I don't blame you for that, Janna. But good news is I was here. So yeah.
I know that saved the day.
That did save the day. She had something to laugh about when she saw the stallion had put Joey, the Italian stallion, on his little banner there. Well, Janna, thank you so much for pulling back the curtain on this massive issue. I think for those who are investing in cryptocurrencies, purchasing it, owning it, whether you're a holder, you're a flipper, whatever your thing is, it's definitely the real issues that we're dealing with. You might be overpaying, or even worse, maybe even under-reporting and not even knowing it. And I'm grateful that, Janna, you were able to kind of give us some ideas. So, Tribe, if you do own this this currency, then go to defitax.us and see how maybe you can get more accurate reporting, and would love to hear your thoughts as you're using this software. Janna, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, Tribe. Have an amazing day. Thank you for listening.
This has been the Wealth Without Wall Street podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the show to break free of the Wall Street mindset and begin building wealth on your own terms in places you understand, so that your wealth will never run dry. See you next episode.